Hey, Voltron here. Just like to say that I'm starting a new series, and this will be the first one, and it's going to be about the top big threes of each decade, and I'm just going to go like 80s, 90s, beginning of 2000s, then 2010s to where we are currently. So it's only going to be 4 videos, but I'm really excited about this because all the other series or videos that I've done before have been inspired by someone else, and technically this video is inspired, but it was based off of like a top 10 big threes of all time. But I thought it'd be kind of cool to look at the top 3 of each decade. And I'm going to start out with the top 3 big threes in the 1980s. And by the way, I'd just like to say that some rules for this. Now, 80s and 90s are going to be pretty easy in my opinion, but then I think thousands are going to be a bit more difficult. But then 2010, that'll be a breeze. It's already pretty obvious, at least probably the number 1 choice. All right, anyway, the rules are you can't, I guess, repeat a team. Like, you can't repeat a team, so I couldn't put the Bulls in the 80s and the 90s, even though, they didn't really, they won all their titles in the 90s. That kind of gave away who one of the teams is, but it's really not a shock. But I'm going to start out with the Detroit Pistons. And yeah, I was thinking of, well, maybe I should put the Bulls at 1 and then the other 2 at 2 and 3, but instead I figured, well, yeah, why not do this? Oh, and by the way, just another set of rules. I can repeat players, because believe me, I will in a lot of generations, or in some of the decades. Anyway, number 3, Detroit Pistons, with players like Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, and I was debating about who really is the other member of the Big Three. Tons of people could argue Dennis Rodman, who turns out to be one of the greatest defensive players of all time. But I think I'm going to go with Bill Laimbeer, just because Dennis Rodman really didn't show what he was till the very end of the 80s. And Detroit Pistons were mainly good in mid to late 80s and even early 90s. But they were a very good team. Definitely one of the best defenses in NBA history, and one of the best point guards in Isaiah Thomas. He put like a over 30-point game, and one where his ankle was it might have been broken. I know it was at least sprained though, and it's insane to put up a 30-point quarter, but much less. By the way, it was in the playoffs. To do it in the playoffs, and with a freaking on 1 foot. That's just amazing. And Bill Laimbeer, very physical defender, and he was definitely one of the better mental guys at the game. And then Joe Dumars, just a great scorer all around. Alright, I'm going to try to make this video quick. Number 2, Boston Celtics. And probably the best small forward of all time in Larry Bird as their star. One of the best shooters of all time. Yeah, one of the top shooters of all time. I think Steph Curry might actually beat him out for number 1 eventually. But Kevin McHale. And those are the 2 main highlighted ones, but I believe Bill Parrish, he might have been on the Utah Jazz. I believe they'll be one of the 90s ones, hint. But I don't know. I just know that they had another really good player, and they won 2 or 3 titles, but they went to 4 or 5 consecutive titles, and them and the Pistons were big rivals in the East. They would almost always face each other in the Eastern Conference Finals from the mid to late 80s. And the last one is pretty obvious, especially since I'm not doing the Bulls, is the Showtime Lakers, with Magic Johnson, arguably the best point guard of all time, James Worthy, one of the better forwards of all time, and then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, arguably the best center of all time. This is a monster team that every year that the Celtics or Pistons didn't win in the 80s, they won. So I think they won 5 or 6 titles then. But something just about the Lakers franchise from 1980 to, I guess this year, if you can count it, but I mean, I would probably go to the last title they had. They've won 10 NBA titles. That's 36 years and 10 NBA. That's insane, in my opinion. Just saying. If you have 30 other teams, predictably, only 6 teams would win 2. I mean, obviously teams aren't even. Obviously, with the Bulls winning 6 in the 90s, but Showtime Lakers are just amazing. Magic Johnson, one of the best, probably the best passer of all time. James Worthy, a very, very nice scorer, very nice wing defender and scorer, and then Kareem, the skyhook, 7'2". He was insane. But that's the end of that video, and I know that I kind of have we're already in the middle of a series of the top 5 players currently in the NBA at each position, but I decided to cut that off because I haven't really seen any, at least people I know that do like sports video stuff, like YouTube sports videos, done a top 3 big 3 of each decade. So Voltron here, and Sabra!